Welcome into the
Either way. You go ahead. You're good. Yeah, you can do it.
Couldn't tell. Tuesday, July 29th edition of Blue Sky Live. I'm Neal McCready, joined by Chase Parham. We're remote a little bit this morning. I'm in the Clark Ford Studios. Chase is going to get out of here after we podcast to get to the start of Ole Miss preseason camp. The Rebels reported yesterday. They start practice today. There is some media availability in terms of watching the beginning of today's practice. And then there's media day this afternoon. Lane Kiffin speaks to the media at 2 p.m. Central, followed by select players. I don't know precisely which players, but some players available to us this afternoon. And then we'll have Chase will have coverage at his site. I don't do jack. I mean, it's kind of weird. So yeah, we'll do that. Then we'll be back with you again tomorrow. We'll talk about what all happened today, and then the next media availability is on Friday. Is that correct? Friday's the next.
That is correct. Friday. Yeah, Friday.
Okay, so yeah, it's a show that's brought to you each and every day by BlueSky. Chase, what's going on with BlueSky?
Yeah, we're still focused on the catering options. You know about Blue Skies all over the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55, North Mississippi, even down to the epicenter of Macomb. And look, Sweet Daddy's locations are at most of those stops. With those, you get lunch specials, $5.69 here locally. In Oxford, you also get plenty of catering options, no matter the size of your party, corporate event, just family, whatever you got going on. Even just take care of maybe little Johnny. Got open house tonight. I do, so maybe you need a little quick bite. They can hook you up there with Blue Sky and Sweet Daddies here in Oxford and throughout the state. And again, Neal is sitting in the Clark Ford studio because I can see him there.
Yep, I'm here. Clark Ford, though, is in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you are looking for. He will send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. Again, 662-257-1900. Guest will join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit CampbellClinicOxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
They're saying turn me down just a touch, Neal. So in levels on eCam, turn me down just a touch. Thank you. Got it?
I think so.
We'll take a second. It's all good. Don't want to blow anybody's eardrums out today. I typically talk louder anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, I turned you down. You're louder than me naturally.
Okay. People wouldn't think that, but here we are.
Oh, we could do a long dissertation on that.
That could be a show or a week or an off season if you wanted to just, you could outline that bad boy with a topic each day as you went through.
It's a pretty simple deal. That is a pre-established narrative that people fit the facts to fit said narrative, and it's all good.
You mean the general public has thoughts kind of like the media where they have a hard time getting off something once it's believed? That's not simply a media creation in that context.
That's correct. That happens in the real world on a daily basis.
Stephen asking coffee choice this morning. This is community coffee. I think it's the pecan. I don't know. It's not my favorite, but it was in there. I think it's what I put in the drip this morning. Depending on how much I'm going to have, I either use the drip or the Nespresso. Today felt like a 3-4 cup morning, so we did the drip. But if I'm just having one or two, I'll do the Nespresso. It's kind of how it works typically. So here we are.
I had a Nespresso black. I'm trying to make myself get back into intermittent fasting.
I will either do black or I'll do one Splenda. Never cream at all, but I will either put one Splenda in or go black. That's the way that it typically works there. So, yeah, you mentioned it, media day today. Again, we'll have coverage. I put this on the site as well as far as kind of what to expect, but I'll put it here also. Little bit of coverage this morning, a little bit of availability. I saw a text yesterday, came to the media group, that we are getting probably about 30 minutes, and they went ahead and I guess credit for transparency said that it was stretch and very light in endo work, I believe was the way it was phrased, something along those lines. So anyone who says, "Hey, here's how they looked in team drills," we are not going to see a team drill today. We are going to call roll. We're going to see who's hopefully there or not there, and maybe you look at somebody and go, "Oh wow, they have gotten bigger, faster, and stronger in the off season," as college athletes tend to do. But that will be the morning viewing session, and then again, Kiffin
All right,
players this afternoon. Go
hold on,
go ahead,
hold on.
go ahead,
Because,
go ahead.
in years past, this has been a day when I've gone out and been forced to make, quote, observations. I can't do that today legally. You can. So you're telling me, I want to make sure that I just want to kind of make sure, because I learned some things over the years. I'm lazy. You're lazy today if you don't have 100 major observations about what you see this morning and what it will mean over the course of the next 4 months. If you don't, that's laziness. That's you being, you know what it is? It's you being negative. It's you being negative, and you're lazy. So I don't know what else to say to you. I mean, that's what it's laziness and negativity.
What are those? What are those curved rulers called? Like the geometry things, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
What
can't
are those?
I don't remember what they're called, but I can
Should I get one of those and walk over to Logan Diggs and see just how far his hamstring is stretching in said stretch this morning? Would that be non-lazy or more appropriate for the current situation?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You should don't just tell me that guys are getting bigger and stronger. Measure them. Go out and stop practice and say, excuse me, coach, I need to measure this player.
All jokes aside, I guess, I mean, call and roll protractor. Thank you, Ryne. I'm not a math or geometry human at all. Again, I took college algebra multiple times. As one guy on the message board who really loves me already pointed that out publicly, which I thought was kind of doxing in some degree, even though my name is out there. I thought we have entered a new realm. Then that is where we're going, is making fun of my college algebra grades on a public forum. But here we are. It's fine. We'll have that. Kiffin, whatever he says, put that video up. Obviously, first time he has spoken to the media since the tragedy, since whatever else has occurred with the players, MJ Preston, TJ Banks, there as well, and just kind of kick it off a little bit. Now, I did mention on the board, and Neal and I talked about this yesterday. I think even on the show, we're going to do our best, or I am going to do my best this week, and he's going to do his best starting Friday, when to add a little bit of context and depth to things that have that as an availability. Not everything will. Some things will be machine gun and thrown up because they are what they are. However, just if you're on 24/7 sports, give it a second. You're going to get a quality product, but I'm really trying to force myself to not simply regurgitate and let that be the end all be all on most things that we do. Also, go ahead.
It's so bad when we do it, and we've done it. I'm not claiming to be above it at all, but just because a player comes to media availability and talks for 4 minutes doesn't mean it's a story. It just doesn't mean it's a story right this moment. I mean, that's media relations. I mean, they would admit this. We have a good relationship with them. I mean, maybe really good. We're probably of all the media entities, we're a rule follower. They bring those players in, and they depend on us to ask questions, to be honest, because it gives them quotes that they use in their stories. They put the video up on their YouTube, which is good. That's what they're supposed to do. It's not a criticism. But if all we do from a media standpoint is they give us these 3 players on a Monday and we go, okay, well, those are our 3 stories. I mean, we are sheep. And we've been cheap a lot, bad a lot, but doesn't mean that you have to be. It doesn't mean that you can't ever go, hey, let's try to turn this into something that has a little more substance.
And I feel like we've always done that better than everybody else on the beat, but it's one of the reasons why we both together and independently like 24/7 was some of the resources and ability to do that. We get Tyler now as a full-time employee as well, moving forward. So you're not in as much of a, hey, you have to get this out and you're in the middle of the rat race. So just be aware of that as we move forward. That is one thing I think you're going to be um, really happy with the content here soon that you see go up in the next week or two, and then as we move forward into the season and seasons, if you will. So we're gonna do Kiffin at 2. We'll have that to you quickly. I'll do quick hits. I'll do with a video. I don't know. I'll do something as fast as possible, and then we will have something from players today. But again, this is basically we're just going to go in the cafeteria. There's going to be players all over the room. We talk to them. We do the whole deal. We'll get that to you. As I mentioned at the start, I've got open house tonight for my daughter. So if I don't get to something before that, I'll come back. I'll finish it after. No one's discovering any elements tonight, so it'll be all right. We'll get it to you when we get it to you there at 24/7 Sports.
First time in 17 years that we don't have an open house. Nope. No open house.
Well, that's one of the positives, though.
We've closed.
That's a win. That's a win for the McCready household.
That's a dub. Yeah.
That's a dub. You're going to have some L's. That's not going to be an L.
Things I won't miss. Open house is in the I will not miss this category. I'm not sure I'm going to miss much at all other than
soccer.
I'll miss the soccer come November. There will be some Tuesday nights that'll hit me a little bit, probably. Like,
will you catch yourself following the team?
Well, yeah, because I know a few of the guys, obviously. Colton Webb and Emeka and some of those guys, and William, some of those guys that I obviously know and have talked to and seen play for years. I'll be curious to see how they do. I hope they do well, but I don't think I'll catch myself driving out there or anything on a 40-degree night.
There will be some really cold nights where you go, hey, I don't hate that I'm not sitting out there in this right now.
Oh yeah,
because it's one of the 3 or 4 coldest places on earth in those moments when you are having the wind whip around at that point.
Yeah, there will probably be a cold, wet night when I know that they're playing like in Horn Lake or South Haven or something, and it's 37 degrees with a light rain, and I'll think, I don't miss that.
I mentioned this briefly yesterday, and we'll talk about it more after you do it, obviously. But are you dreading the drop off in 10 days or so?
No. You're not going to get me today because I got last night was hard. So
okay, all right.
No, I mean, I think I always remind myself that there's an alternative.
Yeah.
And so, it's time for him
success path. Yeah, whole deal.
Time for him to go to another chapter and do some things for him. It's time for him to do something different. I mean, this was his decision, and he's excited about it. So I'm happy for him. No, I can't sit here and say I'll be all dry-eyed. I mean, I was with Campbell because she was like, leave. With Caroline, I got pretty emotional. I don't know.
That's right. Didn't you go to lunch with one of them and they were like, okay, this is over now. Peace. Go get in the truck.
It wasn't even lunch. We went to some breakfast and it wasn't good. And then the breakfast might've been fine. Just the whole deal was not good. And then we dropped her off to get her nails done and left her there. She Ubered to her dorm and that was it. I was like, well, this was not how I envisioned this going. And so you learn to stop envisioning because you prepare a narrative that may or may not come true. With Caroline, it was a little more traditional. Like we went to lunch and it was time to go, and we took her back to her dorm and kind of got emotional and all that. And I suspect with Carson, it'll be somewhere in between.
I think that's probably a rule in life. I don't know that I'm. It's one of my qualities is I don't put a lot of expectations on things because I am worried about that and I'm aware of that. But I see it a good bit, and I do think it's one of probably the issues that is if you can avoid it, something that really helps your happiness and kind of how you perceive moments. Because if you set up too many expectations on exactly how something's going to go, even if it's better in some ways, if it doesn't do that, you're disappointed. You don't let anything organically just be good, even not even when it fails, that's obvious, but even when it's good in a different way, it's, well, I had completely prepared my mind for it to be this and it wasn't this.
Yes.
So it's inherently wrong. And that's not true. There's an interesting thing there.
I think people do that with vacations a lot, like family vacations. They anticipate that it's going to be this way, and it's not, because the more people you involve, the more odds are somebody's got something going on in his or her life. You know, somebody's not in the mood that you anticipated that they would be in. Somebody's sad, somebody's stressed. I don't know, whatever. And so you envision that everyone's going to sit down and have this dinner at this specific anointed hour, and it's going to be this certain way. And things don't typically work like
Then
that.
you have a bad server, and here we go. Well, I'm off and running.
And your drinks sit for 47 minutes, and and next thing you know, you're yelling at the server, and it's going haywire. You're having a Cincinnati moment right there at Disney World. The happiest place on earth is the most miserable place on earth. See?
Most magical place on earth. Happy as Disneyland.
Oh,
Florida's magic.
Whoa, I stand corrected.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Magical place. Wasn't a lot of magic that night, so just you got to be careful with anticipating something that you don't control.
Truth serum. I'm going to move on in a minute. We'll come back to football after a couple other things. Truth serum. You get a complete answer. Lane Kiffin, one question. What would it be today?
How are you handling August 1st offers in this completely up in the air environment? Are you including rev share specificity in the offers that you extend on August the 1st? Are you leaving that alone? How are you addressing NIL opportunities when you don't really know how that's going to work? That's where I would, and quite honestly, it's probably the thing that he would most like to discuss, but I think he would respectfully say, I don't want to get into that publicly because I don't want to let the other schools that we compete against know how we're handling it. But I think he would acknowledge that it's more than fair that, here we are 3 days or whatever from being able to formally extend offers that actually matter, which is the irony of what we do, because we write about, quote, offers when these kids are in the 8th grade, which is they're not real offers. They're overtures. They're not offers. There's nothing to actually accept. It's like a job offer. It's not a job offer until they offer you a contract. You know what I mean? Hey, Chase, I'm going to pay you X to do this. Great, I'll do it. Yeehaw. If there's nothing in writing, it's not real yet.
We learned this from Jerry Maguire when he shook Mr. Cushman's hand and he said, "My word's stronger than oak," and then did not have that deal in place.
But now on August the 1st, you can extend offers that are legit, that are real, that have meaning. And so in this environment, do you include that language?
If it is included on any school's offer letter, are kids still going to take pictures and put them out on social media if they include numbers?
That's a great question. I doubt it.
Unless he's real happy with the number and he goes, "Hey, look, bitches."
Now agents might not take pictures, but agents might put the numbers out, and then you have to decide, do you trust the agents?
Oh, well, that's 100% true. Yeah.
do you believe the agent? Or does the agent putting out, this is what the number is if everything maxes out?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that's what fans would want you to talk about, but that's what I would be actually interested in. I mean, I've covered, this is year 6 covering Lane. He's not going to dive into personnel much today. He's not going to do it. He doesn't like doing it, so he doesn't do it. And if you insist on that being the line of questioning, it becomes a really boring press conference.
He shuts down. He doesn't answer, and he doesn't answer anything else.
And, some of that is, it's a lot of names, it's a lot of people. And then some of that is, he doesn't have those answers on July the 29th.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they have 5 weeks of preseason practice.
Yeah.
To get some of those answers.
Swap topics around in a second when we come back. First, tell you about New Albany Pharmacy and Solutions, 140 Fairfield Drive there in New Albany. You can contact them at 662-539-7777. Family-owned pharmacy with excellent service, wide-ranging gifts for all ages, whereas home decor, jewelry, plenty more. Tell me you heard about them from MPW Digital, and you get 15% off any non-medical purchase. Also got just med packs. Walk in and feeling a little weird, cold, let them help knock it out. You can just walk in, pick them up over the counter, and get on with your day. They also have a new look website up and running. You can go there, check out everything that Michael and Lauren have to offer with New Albany Pharmacy and Solutions. That's newalbanypharmacy.com.
Brought to you by Comer's Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, but the same great people, products, and services. If as hot as it is right now, it's going to just get hotter in August. As hot as it is right now, if your AC is acting weird, you need to get in touch with Comer and Southern. If you're in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, those areas, get in touch with Comer, 662-801-1777. If you are in Memphis, Hernando, South Haven, those areas, call Southern, 662-429-4429. Oxford locals, Ole Miss families, if you need dry cleaning or laundry done right, Lapel's Dry Cleaning has you covered, proudly serving the Oxford community since 2016. Lapel's takes care of everything from suits and formal dresses to comforters and everyday laundry. Even better, they offer free pickup and delivery to make life easier. Just call 662-638-3149 to be added to their pickup and delivery route, or visit them at 3010 Old Taylor Road, right across from the Mark Condominiums. Mention MPW, and you get 50% off your first order. Trust Lapels to keep you looking your best. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with the personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Seago with Seago Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting. See what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. And we're brought to you by Arnett's Fine Jewelry. It's a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lamons Jewelry Building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They offer expert jewelry repair, diamond engagement rings, wedding bands, stackable diamonds, genuine stone bands, everything you could want in jewelry. They've got it. They're also a perfect place for gifts, flexible bangles, diamond pendants, earrings, much, much more. At Arnett's, they want to be your jeweler. And we're brought to you by the College Corner, autographed footballs, autographed helmets in stock, also all the gear, all the brands, all the colors, everything that you want to get ready for the football season, which is just weeks away. They've got it at the College Corner, 2 locations in the Jackson area, one right here in Oxford off of Sisk Avenue in the Oxford Commons. Stop in, get all the gear you need. They'll have you in and out and ready for the Grove, ready for Vaught Hemingway in no time. It's collegecornerstore.com.
The stream is telling me that it's 98 Rebel saying the tool that measures flexibility is called a goniometer. Goniometer. I don't know.
You have a little over an hour and 15 minutes to go get one.
To procure one?
I mean, yeah, to procure a goniometer. I think anybody who's really covering preseason camp appropriately would do that.
You should have a legal pad, you should have a pen, and you should have a goniometer.
Well, I have always taken a legal pad and a pen, and now the goniometer I've never done because, again, I'm lazy and I'm negative, and I'm accused of a lot of things. So I think it comes out in my lack of a goniometer. That's
Well, here's the problem: is they're telling me that Amazon can only get it to me tomorrow. They can get it to me tomorrow though, for $4.98.
Well, you can be ready.
The good ones are $9.25.
You can be ready for Friday.
I can. So, assuming what you were alluding to, you were dressed in Ryne Sandberg gear today. You got your Cubs hat on. You have your 23 shirt on there. Several elements to this. He's the perfect age to really mark your childhood from a baseball hero.
Mm-hmm.
Passed away at 65 yesterday. Because I've got my own thoughts, but I want to go to you first here, obviously, with everything involved with this. I know he put out that statement 5 or 6 days ago. Did we realize it was this imminent?
Yeah, I actually thought it was happening last week, and then when it didn't happen, I kind of let my guard down a little. I was sort of braced for it when the Cubs came out of the All-Star break hosting the Boston Red Sox, and on that Friday, John Lester, who pitched for the Red Sox and the Cubs during his storied career, was seen in the stands wearing a Ryne Sandberg jersey. And I was like, oh. And then the next day, Kerry Wood, who was a legend to Cubs fans, I guess was there to throw out the first pitch. And
Wrigley?
At Wrigley.
Okay.
Yeah. These games were at Wrigley. And Kerry Wood wore a Ryne Sandberg jersey. And you knew it was kind of imminent. And then it went another week plus, where it didn't happen. And I think you sort of let your guard down. And then the news kind of trickled out last night. I didn't even know about it. I got a text from Corey Clark, and he didn't even have to say his name. And I was like, oh, my God, did he die? And he was like, yeah. And, yeah, to your point, I mean, I won't get all sappy here, but he broke into the major leagues when I was 12.
Yeah.
That
traded from the Phillies to the Cubs.
Yeah, he was in the Larry Boa trade. I was very aware of it because my favorite Cub when I was 9, 10, 11 years old was Ivan De Jesus, who was the Cubs shortstop, who went over to Philadelphia in the Larry Boa trade. If you read the AP story on that trade, the Ryne Sandberg part of the trade is a throwaway sentence.
Mm-hmm.
The Cubs also received 22-year-old infielder Ryne Sandberg.
Yeah.
Larry Boa was a legendary Philly. He was coming up on an end of a contract. He wanted a longer deal than the Phillies were willing to give him. So they swapped shortstops, and Sandberg was a throw-in in the trade. But I was aware of him, and then when he made his Cubs debut, he was their third baseman, and I think he went 0 for his first 30-something.
He was 1 for 32. Looked it up today. 1 for 32.
1 for 32.
The worst start by a Major League Baseball Hall of Famer in history.
And all of those games were on TV. You know, I mean, I've talked about this. We're all a product of where we're from. And I grew up in north central Louisiana. There was no team. A lot of my friends were Braves fans. A lot of my friends were Astros fans. The closest team to us was the Rangers, but nobody cheered for the Rangers. They didn't. You know, and I didn't grow up in an LSU town. Louisiana Tech was in our town, and everybody kind of cheered for Tech. I cheered for Tech, but Tech wasn't a big enough deal to matter. It wasn't like when you grow up in an SEC town where it's a bigger deal. I mean, Tech was fine. We would go to Tech games. We went to some Tech baseball games. We cheered for the Bulldogs, but we didn't care. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I cared about the Cubs, and I could follow them every day. And to a kid from North Louisiana, Chicago looked like this amazing place. Wrigley Field certainly did. And the games came on in the afternoons. And so you'd come home from school, and you'd turn the game on, and they were probably in like the 6th inning. And so you'd see the late innings and all that stuff. And that was also the time in my life when I was really playing, and baseball was important to me, and I loved it and wanted to be good at it and was looking for players to emulate. And and you could watch the Cubs in the day and you could watch the Braves at night. And so you saw a lot of Ryne Sandberg and you saw a lot of Dale Murphy and Bob Horner and those guys. But for whatever reason, I really matriculated towards the Cubs. And in 1984, Ryne Sandberg had an amazing season. He had an amazing season. He won the MVP. He hit 19 triples, I think, at Wrigley Field as a second baseman. He had the Bruce Sutter game, the Ryne Sandberg game that Bob Costas called. It was the NBC Game of the Week.
5 for 6, couple home runs.
Yeah, and it was just they won the division. They came a win from the World Series. And, I mean, those were formative years for anybody. Anybody will tell you that. And he was just my guy. I had a big Ryne Sandberg poster in my room. I tried to emulate him at the plate. I failed miserably. And he showed up and played every day, and he just was kind of the guy that he played hard. I thought everyone has agreed to this, but as a 14-year-old, I thought he played the game the way the game was supposed to be played. And you tried to emulate that, and he was a great role model. So I don't know. I got to meet him. I was covering the Saints. They were playing in Chicago in the NFC Championship game. And I was there on a Friday night. I went to Harry Carey's because I was writing a story, and he was there. And I kind of worked up the nerve not to go ask for an autograph, but just to go say hello. And I just said, "You were my hero as a kid. Thanks." And he was super nice. He was there with some friends. I think his wife was there. He couldn't have been nicer. And I noticed that people were coming up to him. You could buy a baseball at Harry Carey's. Makes sense. And people were buying baseballs and getting him to autograph. And he was there just trying to enjoy time with his family, but he could not have been more gracious to every single person. He didn't have to spend 10 seconds with me, but he did. And it meant something to me, the throwaway for him. But, over the years, he's just kind of been – Ernie Banks died, and Ryne Sandberg kind of became Mr. Cub. And he got into the Hall of Fame, and his speech was this modest 100-word speech, basically. And it's kind of who he was. I thought he was that – he's one of those people that, like, someone asked me that, late last night, I saw it this morning, your favorite Cubs of all time. I'm like, he's number one with a bullet. Always was. I mean, I loved Andre Dawson, and had Greg Maddux been a Cub his whole career, there would have been some competition, but I loved Maddux. I loved Rick Sutcliffe and Mark Grace, and Gary Matthews and Bob Dernier and Jody Davis and all those people, but it was always Sandberg. He was the guy. He was the one that you wanted when you got the jersey. You got the 23 jersey. I mean, I got to wear 23 my senior year in football, and it was because of Ryne Sandberg. Yeah, he wasn't a football player. It was him, and he just, I mean, he was just my guy. And even though he's only 10 years older than me, he always seemed a lot older than that. But I don't know, when there's something, you'll probably start to experience this as you get a little older. When your childhood heroes die,
yeah,
there's a mortality to that hits you in the gut. Like, how is it possible that Ryne Sandberg's dead? That's what I thought last night when I heard it. I was out walking, and I just stopped, and I went, how is it possible?
Yeah, and not a car wreck or a Kobe situation or something. Just prostate cancer.
But it was the same thought that when Kobe Bryant died, even though Kobe was much younger and in the prime of his career, you're just like, how's that possible? That someone that's bigger than life. And to me, when I was a teenager, Ryne Sandberg was kind of bigger than life. I mean, it was a different era. But that was the beginning of an era. You could watch every Cubs game. It wasn't just highlights. You felt like you knew that team. So I don't know. It was an emotional thing. I mean, I got emotional thinking about it last night because I've probably watched thousands of his games, and a lot of times the Cubs weren't any good, and I watched because he was out there. It was like well, if he's out there, I'm watching. I'll be loyal, even though they suck.
Yeah, only 2 playoff appearances, 84 and 89. Was really good with over 1,000 OPS in both those playoff series, or combined at least. 7 Silver Sluggers, 9 Gold Gloves, 10 consecutive All-Star selections every season from 84 to 93 during that. Yeah, he hit 385 with 1,098 OPS during his playoff career.
Yeah,
Pretty damn good.
He retired the first time. It was during that crazy week with all the O.J. Simpson stuff.
I didn't recall that.
Yeah. I mean, well, you wouldn't because that wasn't one of the big storylines, but in my world it was. Ryne Sandberg's retiring, like in June, but he walked away. He just there were some things happening in his personal life, and again, at the time I was like 24 years old. I'm like, Ryne Sandberg doesn't have a perfect personal life. How could that be? I mean, he's amazing. I mean, he completely revolutionized that his position in the major leagues. You got to remember, before him, second basemen weren't power hitters. We're kind of used to it now, but back then, I mean, he hit 40 home runs one year as a second baseman.
He walked so roided up Jeff Kent could fly. That's what he did. He was right there.
In a lot of ways. I mean, he's one of those guys. How good is Ryne Sandberg if he juices?
He comes back oddly or coincidentally or whatever you want to say. He and Harry Carey started and ended together from a Cubs tenure. Not in the same way, but they went the same amount of time there, ending in 97. Yeah, because WGN, as you mentioned, I mean, because I've told this 1,000 times, I was a Braves fan basically for a lot of different reasons. But my grandmother watched Braves games every night, and I'd see those, and that's kind of who I gravitated toward. I mean, like you, I wore 23 in baseball, but it was David Justice. It wasn't even a pitcher or anything like that. It was David Justice. But my great grandmother, who kept me when I was little, like I said, she kept it on WGN all day long. I've told the story. It was in the heat of the night, Bozo the Clown, all this stuff, and then it was Cubs games in the afternoon. And wasn't a Cubs fan, but they were so easy to watch, and you just had it on, and it had this almost hypnotizing thing to it every single day. And that era of WGN being a superstation with Cubs games on at least 100 a year was 78 to 2014. But it really was that era you're talking about. Like, that's the definition of that era, even though it began before that and went later than that. You're talking about that 80 to 2000.
Yep.
2-decade time span, really.
I think I think 1980 is the year that we got it in Ruston, where you went from ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, and the local station, which was just like nothing. It's mostly just script on the screen, to WTBS, WGN, and then I guess shortly thereafter CNN. Because I remember CNN because like the day that Ronald Reagan was shot, when I got home we turned the TV to CNN because it was like Bernard Shaw was the anchor, and he was telling us.
So what was your local channel? What was on this? What was the purpose?
It was just mostly like script, and it would tell you like things that were going on in Ruston. It was just like, when the Peach Festival parade was starting, or if there was a meeting at City Hall, or that kind of stuff. It was just script information that was on the screen.
Oh, temperature, time, kind of like the former Time Temp Plus a little bit.
Time and temperature for that 255-7722. You would always call the time and temperature. And the local
kids today don't understand that even when I was young, that's what you did. You called a number for time temp, and then movie times were on there too. You hit like 4 for movie times.
Yeah, we didn't get that till much later. Usually we just called it just the time and the temperature, because if it was kind of cold outside and wet, you were hoping it would drop below 32 so that you could hope for snow.
Is that why you did it?
Yeah. You're just hoping, like, or it might be like a snow flurry outside, so you call time and temperature to see and they'd say The temperature is 34 degrees. And you'd be like, son of a.
At 7:02 p.m.
7:02. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this is stuff you remember. I mean, you everybody does from their childhood. That those are formative years. Like when you turn about 10 to when you're 16, 17, you're still a kid, but you're starting to kind of grow up. I mean, that's what you remember. I remember KNOE, the CBS affiliate in Monroe, the weatherman. I think his name was Jack McCall, and he had this little cartoon character, Freddie, that would come out, and Freddie would go out, and he'd look up, and either the sun would come out or the rain or whatever, and you're like, okay, well, that's what's coming tomorrow in the forecast. That's what Freddie said.
So this still exists?
What?
Is that true?
What still exists?
The Time Temp Plus thing.
Oh, I don't know.
I just Googled it, and Google says, let me find it here.
Call the one in Ruston, see what happens. Let's see.
Says it still receives, this is in 2024, says it still receives thousands of calls a day.
The temperature is 77 on Tuesday, July 29th at 8 o'clock and 42 seconds.
How about that?
The forecast for today is mostly sunny. A slight chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Hot with highs in the upper 90s. Northwest winds around 5 miles per hour.
Still there. If you want the info, 255-7722. You want to know what's going on in Ruston from a weather standpoint, there it is. Area code 318.
What is the average age of people who call that number?
97. I just brought the average down to 96.8.
The internet says Oxford's is 234-3333.
There you go.
I cannot confirm that either way, but that is what it. I mean, I guess I can, but I'm not calling it. But that's what it says. So, okay. We somehow turn Ryne Sandberg into Time Temp Plus, but that's fine.
But you know, it's funny. I got asked the other day. I was talking with a friend, and we were just saying something about sports and stuff. We were talking about current sports, and he was like, "What's your favorite childhood sports memory?" And without even a moment's hesitation, I said the Ryne Sandberg game. Happened on a Saturday afternoon, and man, I was ready to run through a wall by the end of that day. I was so excited. He hit a home run to tie it. Then he hit another. The Cardinals scored 2. He hit another home run to tie it. Then I think the Cubs won in the 12th, the 13th. No one really remembers how they won the game. It was the 2 home runs off the best closer in the game at the time, Bruce Sutter, and it just felt like a movie. I was thrilled. It was one of those deals. It was so exciting that it stuck, and it wasn't just me because people still, like yesterday, there were so many videos of the Sandberg game that suddenly started getting played.
Yeah, we all have them. It's just like I said, tough day. Life goes on, and they age, and things happen, and they're human. We don't consider them human when we're kids.
Nope.
And then here you are. So, all right, we will come back and hit, something here in a minute. Before we do that, tell you about NE Spark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available, whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends. They offer both residential and business packages with speeds up to 2 gigabits. That's up from previously 1 gigabit, so even more power for you in the internet space. To learn more, register for service. That's nespark.com. NE Spark. Get connected. Stay local.
We're brought to you by Argent Wealth. When you work with Argent Wealth's 401k advisory services, you gain a valuable advisory team and time-saving resource that will help you develop and maintain a solid strategy for your retirement plan. They're committed to providing you with the personalized attention and involvement that you want and need. Their goal is to help you manage your 401k plan properly and ultimately improve your employees' retirement readiness. It's myargentwealth.com. Also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John is part of Virtuoso, worldwide network of travel partners that allow him to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits simply not available to other travelers. Get in touch with John. Give him some parameters. Give him a budget. He's going to help you create a special trip that makes a lifetime of unique memories. It's 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself at corinthdental.com.
Time to tell you about your new favorite destination for kids in Oxford, Totsford. It's their brand new indoor play space opening this September. Fun size Walk of Champions where your Rebels can march with pride. A mini grove perfect for pint-sized tailgaters. And even a double-decker bus with slides and endless adventures. Everything you love about Oxford shrunken down and designed for your kids and grandkids to play, socialize, and explore in a safe, air-conditioned, or heated environment. Perfect place for the next generation to make memories rain or shine. And now until Friday, you have a unique opportunity to become a permanent part of Totsford. They're offering commemorative bricks for the Totsford Walk of Champions. Customize a brick for your favorite little one. Help pave the way for better play in Oxford. Don't miss a chance to leave a lasting legacy for your family and support a new local business. That's Totsford.com to purchase your brick and help build a place where their child can feel like a champion. That's TOTSFORD.com. I saw this from The Athletic this morning. They were talking about what we were talking about last week, so we were ahead of them on this. Media Day losing its luster, and not just in lack of news, but the country caring, frankly, that SEC Media Days used to be this thing that was the tip-off point even for the non-SEC people, and it's ended. And they used a Google Trends chart to show this. I pulled it up, and it's not a crazy fall, but it's easy to see that from an internet search capability relative to the rest of the internet, because that matters too. If it can't just go straight off impressions. SC Media Day really started becoming a thing in 2009 nationally. Its peak was in 2013, and then we've seen a pretty precipitous fall through 2018 and then especially post 2020. They have a lot of reasons for it, and there are a lot of reasons for it, but I think a lot of it is simply we get availability to everyone involved throughout the year now. Greg Sankey talks 150 times a year. The Big Ten commissioner, who's named Petiti, he talks 150 times a year, and we're doing all the stuff that's not sports. We're doing the business around sports, and people either tune out or that's where the news is, and that overtakes it. So there are all those things, and then I don't know, somebody talking about SEC Media Days in particular said that it's changed so much from the standpoint of you don't get one-on-ones with writers and coaches and players anymore. That it's changed from an availability where really it's a TV and a radio event now compared to anything else. So you have those things along with Destin increasing in popularity because news happening, and they're available for interviews there too. That's where you get more one-on-ones. There's a lot of change, but I noted yesterday that the country is now talking about the same topic of we're really falling off with media days having a lot of pizzazz, if you will, as we get ready for the college football season.
Well, you'll be able to address this better than me. Obviously, I wasn't there. What I saw on like SEC Network or ESPN or whatever, it looked like there weren't as much media there either. Like there were some empty rooms. And typically when one of the coaches, even if it's, you know, the coach at one of the lesser schools, not lesser, but less talked about schools, the coach in the big room, there's still a lot of people in there. There were some small crowds, and maybe it was the Thursday thing because it was like Drinkwitz or whatever, but there were some small crowds. I was like, whoa. I mean, swaths of empty seats in the media room. And, you know, it's I've heard the SEC really wants to cut back on media in Destin. I don't know how you do that. But that happens, it's basically Memorial Day. So it's the end of May, 1st of June. And then you do media days 6 weeks later. And then the season doesn't start for another 6 weeks, and nobody's doing tabs anymore. That was the purpose it served for newspapers, was you were doing these huge special sections with, in Mobile, but we did, a page on South Carolina, a page on Kentucky, a page on Florida. You had to have something to put on the damn page. You couldn't just put a bunch of pictures up. I guess you probably could have, but we didn't. We wrote, and you used media days for that. That's a dinosaur now. But no one does that. I don't really know, other than the TV for a dead week in July. I don't know what real purpose it serves.
I saw, maybe it was Matt Moscona talking about it with some media entity yesterday, that they even were seeing less positives from it because of where Digital Drive, formerly Radio Row, is located in the event, because you're on a different floor. You don't have great access down to the big room. It just kind of changes even their ability to move around and whatnot. They think they spent, I saw this, that their radio station out of Baton Rouge said they spent about $5,000 sending people and setup, and they wanted to make about 15 grand from it, was kind of what they were trying to do. Relatively small numbers, except for the 5,000 is very notable for an event that you don't even really know what you're getting from it, because they sent 5 people.
Yeah, so. And I kind of wonder, maybe I don't know, Matt would address this, but people listening to Baton Rouge talk radio on a random Wednesday afternoon,
do they care?
Do they really care to hear from the Auburn football coach? Probably so, I guess. I mean, does it move the needle? I don't know. It's the other thing with, like, I do wonder, with so much exposure now, and then also with the way people consume media is much more provincial than it used to be, perhaps. If people in Baton Rouge, for example, are saying, no, if it's not really about LSU, I don't really want to hear it. So yeah, if you get the Auburn coach on and he talks about LSU for 15 minutes, sure. But that's not really how you do those interviews. So I don't know. I just wonder if it's just the time, and media. So, I mean, and college football has become this daily sport all year. And so now does a convention in Nashville, Atlanta, whatever, for 4 days, does it really resonate the way that it used to? Because it used to.
Related, I was playing on Google Trends after they gave me the SEC Media Day link. I made a search for Ole Miss football. Basic. How many people search Ole Miss football on the internet? And I don't know if this is millions, I don't know what the number is, but it gives you perspective. Okay. So it did the last 20 years. Again, this is Google. And in 2004, it's a 0 to 100 scale. Again, I don't know what the scale is. It doesn't really matter. It's at 11 on the 0 to 100 scale in 2004. That's not surprising. Even in 2013, it's 36. Okay, 43 and 36. Got me? You with me?
Yep.
All right. 14, 100. Duh, makes sense. 15, 88. 16, very high, like 88, 90, something like that. Maybe 90 something. Since 2021, it's basically been 100, nonstop. From 2015, which makes sense, 2016, which makes sense, to 2020, 44. Probation gave them an 80. 36 in 2019, and in 2020, 19. And then it's been back at 100, 21 to 25. This is an obvious thing, but there is very clear math that said you were a nationally competitive, relevant program under Hugh Freeze for myriad reasons.
Yep.
When you fell off, you went completely in the tank from a national perspective. No one gave two dams.
Yep.
And then as soon as Lane Kiffin started winning, you've been in 100 since then. And here you are.
I know a guy who did a podcast in 2019, and what he said was, you're irrelevant right now. I mean, you are irrelevant. That's hard to hear. No one, I would laugh at some of the people that everybody's out to get Ole Miss. I'm like, no, nobody cares. You're not even, you don't even register. I didn't even know about this scale at the time, but you just were irrelevant. I mean, what Kiffin brought Ole Miss first and foremost was relevance, which is so much better than irrelevance. you want people to talk about you, to think about you, to you. That's why I laugh at the whole media's. I mean, not media, but the league's out to get. No, I mean, there were probably nobody sicker than the people in Oxford than the people in Birmingham last year when Ole Miss lost to Florida. I promise you, the league wanted to get Ole Miss to the playoff because it would have shot down one of the arguments that, like, Rhett Lashley made about the SEC the other day, which was one of those deals which was bullshit, but at the same time, it's kind of true. Nuance. He goes, the league's real top heavy. It's the same 6 teams. And you're like, well, it's not really like that, but yeah. You know, I mean, Ole Miss could have shot some of that down.
Somebody just to ask about state. They were 90 to 100 in 2014, which again makes sense.
Yeah.
And in the last 20 years outside of that, they have not had a number even above 66-ish. Something like that. That's their only spike.
They are as irrelevant in football right now as maybe they've ever been. I mean, literally no one talks about them. It's just an assumption that they'll be the worst.
Last October, so middle of the season, they were at 29.
Wow, I'm surprised they were that high. That's just the power of the league right there.
Yeah, they have to play other teams.
What was Kentucky, for example?
All right, hold on 1 second. Yeah, sure. I can. Kentucky football. They had 100 spike in 21, and last year they were at 81.
Powerful league.
Now they've had some lean ones too. They've been around 50 for a number of years. 2020 they were at 25. 23 they were at 60.
What you'd love to do, and we don't do it now, but start pulling up some ACC schools and see what they are, because I would suspect their irrelevance is just zeros practically.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you get.
Well, I just did one. I did Wake Forest for the hell of it.
All right.
In that 20-year stretch, Wake Forest's highest number is in 2021, and it was 29. 29.
My buddy at Chapel Hill, the hand raised guy that I don't know, that I assume he exists or she exists, is just screaming right now.
Going, whoa.
We must do something. I'm not saying Paul Feinbaum's the voice of the SEC, by the way, but let's not pretend that Paul's not connected. I don't know if you noticed, but Paul didn't push back at all on that North Carolina stuff last week. I mean, he pushed back on the part about the SEC pursuing, because that's not how the SEC does business. The SEC doesn't ask you to dinner. You ask the SEC if they'd be kind enough to take you to dinner.
North Carolina football, very, very, very low too. Very low.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And not to get on this topic, but I saw some people saying, well, they might do SEC football only. The SEC's never going to do that. Never.
Oh God, no.
Never. I mean, the people that, I'm like, well, you're just making stuff up now. Why would you take North Carolina if you weren't going to get their full brand?
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Kentucky has beaten State in Google searches. Kentucky football has beaten Mississippi State in Google searches every single year except for 2014 in the last 20 years.
2014 was the year that they were number one for a while, right?
That's correct. They were actually number one in the very first college football playoff ranking.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah, you can do a comparison thing which changes the numbers and just shows you against each other what it looks like.
Crazy.
Uh-huh.
See the other big story in sports yesterday that I thought had some relevance?
What's that?
Bryce Harper and Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball. Bryce Harper told him to get the F out of the clubhouse if he was there talking about salary cap.
Did he really?
Yeah. It's a story worth reading. Go figure. Players who play in an uncapped system don't want a cap. Weather at 10. Major League Baseball is headed towards an impasse. Got one more season, and then I think
what's going to happen?
I think they're headed towards Cold War. There's no optimism at all that the two sides can reach a deal. Rob Manfred, Mark DeRosa, the people from the commissioner's office are going apparently locker room to locker room, trying to get guys to talk about the idea of some form of cap. And the players, as you might expect, are not for a capped system. Keep that in mind as we start to talk about caps in college. The players who right now are playing in an uncapped system are not going to eagerly sign up for a cap. It's where the NFL goes, haha, we're so far ahead of all you people.
We got this figured out.
We got this done. And now the players, I'm sure the NFL players would love to erase the cap, but the cap exists. Once you have the cap, you can keep the cap on, but it's hard to put the cap on when there is no cap.
A little bit of a thank you here. This just went out of my email, but Neal will be aboard soon as well. 24/7 gives us stats on how many of you guys sign up off directly like a story. So if you can't read a VIP story, you went and signed up for the site to be able to read that. And 2 stories from our site were in the top 10, including number 1 within the last week or 10 days. So appreciate that.
Look at you.
Look at the number 1 story in the entire 24/7 sports network over the last how many ever days getting direct signups. You people, I appreciate you. Was a way too early lineup projection for Ole Miss baseball. Led the whole damn network.
Man, your depth chart story that you're putting out this morning is going to absolutely kill it.
Number 8, Hunter Elliott's return highlights mixed Ole Miss MLB draft results.
God, that depth chart story is going to be awesome.
You know, people pulled up that thing, though, employees, and went, what the hell is going on at Ole Miss?
I told you I'd not been in the stadium in so long, and I walked in for that first regional game, the game that they lost to Murray, and I was just kind of blown away. I don't know why. Not like an amazement kind of thing, but just like the environment was different than what I remembered.
Yeah. Number 2, 4, and 5 were Iowa, but they must have just had a new site go over because it's one of them includes somebody joined the network or something. So
pretty rabid fan base, Iowa.
Number 3, how Jack Swarbrick knew Marcus Freeman was the right man for Notre Dame football. I get that one. That makes sense.
The depth story.
Number 6, projected depth chart for Minnesota football heading into fall camp.
You're going to number 1 with a bullet at noon today. Oh, it's going to be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, good. People are going to love it.
So, again, appreciate you people.
Lane will not be one of the people who loves it.
He will not.
He will not be appreciative. He'll look around the room and find you and just lock in and glare.
I have avoided that. I have avoided the top 30 players in 30 days stories. I've ignored those that are going on around the network right now. So
33 days until the season. Here's the best player to ever wear number 33 for Minnesota football.
Yeah, exactly. It's content.
It is.
So, all right. Be back in a minute. Tell you quickly about G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync. 3 prescriptions the same day each month. Take care of you. As you can tell, we're big on independent local community pharmacies. So switch over from the big box stores, G&M again in Oxford, or Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs. Either one of those. That's 662-236-2222.
Located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana, Parish Brewing Company's simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer. They're incredibly good at it. They've got all sorts of products, whatever you're looking for, IPA, double IPA, a wheat beer. Pilsner, we've got it. Coffee stout, they've got that too. Revy, it's really, really good. Wherever you look for beer, look for Parish Brewing Company. You'll be really glad that you did. We're also brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's International Realty and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art Hayes can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously, so call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email art@arthur, ARTHUR.Hayes, HAYS, @lakesmn.com.
I saw this morning. I get a newsletter from one of the New Orleans media publications, just because whatever I do. And I saw Louisiana put a bunch of new laws in place today. I tried to search to see what Mississippi had going at the same time. It looked like July 1st was when theirs was going, but I can't find a lot that's either funny or kind of interesting for Mississippi. They increased the number of days that fireworks may be sold at retail stores. I did not even know that was a rule. I don't know that I knew you couldn't just sell fireworks whenever you wanted to. I just assumed people didn't because of supply and demand and whatnot.
I didn't know.
But that is not true. Now you have two windows, May 23rd through July 12th and December 5th through January 9th.
Oh.
January 9th is pretty late.
Yeah, I mean, if
Is it not?
you're shooting off fireworks on January the 9th, your neighbors do not like you.
Mississippians can now have wine shipped straight to their door.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a new one.
Per WLOX.com, Mississippians can now have wine shipped straight to their door. The governor signed Senate Bill 2145 into law, which allows stores to ship customers up to 12 9-liter cases of wine each year.
Oh, interesting. So you can join a wine club now.
I don't see where it says you can't. So
Oh,
if you can't, I'm not aware of it. Also, the sweet potato has been named the official state vegetable of Mississippi.
How about that? Congratulations to the sweet potato.
Congratulations to Vardaman. They have won out. That is the sweet potato capital of the world. And now their homegrown crop is the state vegetable.
I mean, I'm a big fan. I love sweet potatoes.
I do too. Said it produces around $82 million for the state, according to Mississippi State University.
That is a lot of sweet potato.
That's what it says.
I just like them roasted, a little salt and pepper. That's it. I don't want butter and all that stuff. Just salt and pepper. It's great.
One of the, and I kind of honestly meant to go because you spend, as you're more aware than ever, you spend a lot of hours in baseball press boxes. If you cover the entire season, you're there for a minute.
Yes.
And former beat person on the beat, John Macon Gillespie, his parents own a restaurant in Vardaman, and I kind of have had moments where I'm like, hey, I'm curious about trying the actual sweet potato pie at a restaurant in Vardaman, the sweet potato capital of the world, just to see what we got going there.
Probably good.
I have a hard time differentiating between sweet potato pie and pumpkin pie. They're kind of the same to me.
Well, yeah, very similar.
Yeah.
Flavor profiles. I think I'd be able to. Wouldn't there be a texture difference?
Yeah. Thank you. There was definitely a texture difference from a smooth standpoint. Let's see. I'm looking at Louisiana's real quick. You're going to improve on most of these, honestly. It's going to be illegal to hold a cell phone while driving in Louisiana. Now, you're all in on that.
Yep.
You're good. Because they're moving to a closed party primary system, you're no longer have the ability to be independent. You're now listed as no party if you're doing that.
Oh, okay.
You are getting heftier fines if you're a slow driver in the left lane of traffic in Louisiana now.
A good one.
You like that one?
Yeah. Left lane is not meant for cruising.
And then you can now go very dark on your window tint in Louisiana. They have increased the tint numbers for you.
There's a lot of that everywhere. Like the super dark, you can't see at all. If I'm law enforcement, that makes me nervous because if I pull over a car and I approach it,
I'd like to be able to see through the window. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. So, anyway, just fun little deal there. They have reported now that the New York City shooter yesterday was targeting NFL headquarters. Had a
Really?
note on him that said he wanted his brain studied because he had CTE. Killed 4 people in a Manhattan office building, but was trying to target the headquarters of the NFL, but took the wrong elevator.
Oh, wow.
Per ESPN this morning. No,
That's
crazy.
scary.
It is. Yes. I believe 1 police officer killed in the
Yeah, I think that's right.
event.
I think that's right.
Yeah. So, tough. Sucks.
The benefit of kind of keeping the news off during the day is I sort of was aware, but I wasn't locked into it. I know it was tons of coverage, obviously, but here lately,
Yeah, I saw it on one of the TVs in the house last night for just a second when I was walking through or doing something else, but that was it. I never actively turned it on. I saw whatever I saw on the internet, or if I had X open or whatever I was doing. But that was the extent of it. So, football. Speaking of, comes back on Thursday. The Hall of Fame game. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah. Chargers and somebody, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's the Chargers and somebody. I did see that. I don't know who the other team is. Doesn't matter. So.
And then college first games there's some on like August the 23rd, I think.
Yes, there is a week 0, so that would be the 23rd, because week 1 is the 30th. Hence why we have media day on July 29th. Because they used to report on August 4th, 5th.
Yeah, because the season didn't start until September.
Yeah, I mean, even last year, maybe it was September 5th. But you have 2 bye weeks.
Yeah.
It's the number of weeks between the 2 dates.
It does feel early for a media day.
Oh, it feels really early. I had in my head it was going to be August 1st.
Well, you were
and I've kind of, well, amen. But I was holding out hope for August 1st. It was originally supposed to be tomorrow, I think, and they moved it even up another day.
Yeah, they moved it up a day. Today was going to be report day, and tomorrow was going to be media day, and they moved it up a full day. I think because
correct.
You have a limited number of practices that you can have, and I think they were building an off day into the calendar.
Okay, fair enough. So, all right, we'll wrap it there. Anything else, we'll be rambling at this point. But I appreciate. Yeah, they're still starting that weekend. It's just the number of weeks between the two determine the number of bye weeks. They haven't actually moved the schedule up per se. It's just the way the calendar falls is different. So it is what it is. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Normal show, normal time, because we do not have practice access tomorrow. Not again until Friday after today. But again, 24/7 Sports. We're running a discount right now. There'll be a bigger discount in a few days. So just plan accordingly. However you would like to do that. And we'll go from there. So appreciate you guys. See you over 24/7 Sports, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.